Welcome back to Cliffieland. This is week in country number 95 on our second attempt of cooking the food of every single country in the world. And tonight we're up to the nation of Lebanon. Lebanon, located in the Middle East in Western Asia. It is bordered by Syria and Israel and across the water from Cyprus. It is technically the smallest nation on the Asian continent, and it has one of my favorite cuisines in the world. It is very typical of that of the Mediterranean and the Levantine in that it features a lot of whole grains and fish and chickpeas and garlic and olive oil, and there are a lot of traditional dishes for Lebanon that we've actually had for some of the neighboring nations and will be doing for some of the neighboring nations. However, tonight we're doing the same four recipes, but 3 dishes that we did last time. So let's take a look and see how things went when we tried it then. Well, 4 years ago on the Global Cooking Challenge, I did these same dishes. The first one being a baba ganoush, which is an eggplant dip. It was really delicious, so I'm looking forward to trying that one again. We also made a pita bread for really only the 3rd time in my entire life, and I got close to getting it right. I still hadn't figured out how to get yeast to rise. I think I may have gotten that one figured out since then. And the cabbage rolls. Those were really delicious also last time, and this time we will additionally be making the Lebanese 7-spice mixture that goes into the cabbage rolls. So now we need to see what actually goes into those dishes. First, for our Lebanese 7-spice mixture, we'll need 1 tablespoon of finely ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of ground allspice, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of grated nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. And then, for our baba ganoush, we'll need 3 to 5 medium eggplants, about 3 pounds, olive oil for drizzling, 5 tablespoons of tahini paste, the juice from 1 freshly squeezed lemon, 3 garlic cloves crushed, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of salt or to taste, plus more for leaching the eggplant, 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley, 1 teaspoon of sumac, and pickles for garnish. And then for our Lebanese pita, we'll need 3 cups of all-purpose flour plus more for dusting, a 1/4 ounce package of active dry yeast, 1 1/4 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, 1 1/2 cups of lukewarm water, that is heated to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and olive oil for drizzling. And finally, for our stuffed cabbage rolls with meat and rice, we'll need 1 head of cabbage, about 4 pounds, 3/4 of a pound of lean ground lamb, you can use ground beef if you'd like, 1 cup of long grain rice, rinsed and dried, 3 heads of garlic, freshly peeled, 4 lemons, freshly squeezed, 1 to 2 teaspoons of the 7 spices mix we made earlier, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and salt to taste. Okay, that's going to be a whole lot of prep work, but it's going to be worth it. Let's get cooking. Into a spice grinder, place the black pepper, allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg, coriander, ground cloves, ginger, and grind until completely blended. Store in a hermetically sealed container away from heat and light. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Cut the eggplants in half and score in a crosshatch pattern. Sprinkle the eggplant halves with salt and let the eggplants rest for 30 minutes. Squeeze out the water. Lay the eggplants on parchment paper-lined baking sheets. Brush with olive oil and let roast in the oven for 40 minutes. Remove from the oven and let cool. Peel the eggplant halves and scoop out the seeds. Set the eggplant meat in a colander and let drain for 10 minutes. Place the eggplant meat into a food processor and add the tahini paste, lemon juice, garlic, vinegar, salt, and process for 2 to 3 minutes until it becomes a paste. Place the paste onto a serving plate and spread evenly across the plate. Garnish with olive oil, parsley, sumac, and pickles. Refrigerate until dinner. Into a bowl, place the flour, yeast, salt, and sugar, and whisk together. Make a well in the middle of the dry mixture and pour in the lukewarm water.
Mix by hand until the very sticky dough comes together. Turn out onto a floured work surface, and adding more flour as needed, knead for about 10 to 15 minutes until the dough bounces back when you push into it. Form it into a large dough ball, place it into a bowl, and drizzle the dough with olive oil and coat on all sides, and place it in a warm spot covered with a damp towel. Let rise until the dough doubles in size. Depending on the temperature, it could take 30 minutes to 1.5 hours. Preheat your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit and lay a pizza stone in the oven to heat. Once the dough has doubled in size, cut the dough into 10 to 12 pieces. Optimally, weigh the dough to get pieces the exact same size. Roll each piece into a ball, and then flatten each ball using a rolling pin. Use flour on the work surface so that it doesn't stick. Lay the pieces on the bottom of a floured baking tray so that they slide off easily. Repeat with the rest of the dough. Place 3 to 4 flattened pita on a pizza stone and close the oven door immediately. Bake until puffed up, about 5 minutes. Remove from the oven and keep warm until dinner. Peel and discard the outer leaves of the cabbage. Pit out the large stem from the bottom of the cabbage. This will help the leaves get separated easier. Place the entire cabbage head in a large pot of water and simmer for 5 to 10 minutes while carefully turning it over to ensure exposure of all sides. As the leaves loosen, pin down the cabbage inside the pot with one fork and with another slowly peel away the leaves one after the other. Do this slowly and carefully so that you don't hurt yourself with boiling water, and also to ensure that the leaves are whole and not torn. Once you've separated all the leaves, try to roll 1 or 2 of them to see if they are soft enough. If they are not, or if they tear or break, put them back in the boiling pot and cook them for another 5 minutes. Place the cabbage leaves in a colander as you peel them. Then into a bowl, place the lamb, rice, 1 to 2 teaspoons of Lebanese 7 spices, half a teaspoon of salt, and knead together until combined. Lay each cabbage leaf separately on a cutting board. Cut the stems if they're too thick. Spread 1 to 2 tablespoons of the meat stuffing along the edge of the leaf. Then roll it slowly and tightly over the meat all the way. Line up the stuffed rolls carefully in a wide, deep cooking pot, one by the other, in a compact manner until you've completed a layer. Garnish with a few cloves of garlic. Place the rolls with the greenest leaves on the bottom of the pot since they need more time and more heat. Roll all the leaves and place them in the pot in this manner while placing garlic cloves in between the layers. You may end up with 2 to 4 layers depending on how wide your pot is. Into a frying pan, place the oil, 10 to 15 cloves of freshly minced or crushed garlic, that's 1 head, and a squeeze of lemon juice. Sauté until they start to turn light brown. Then into a bowl place 4 cups of water, the juice of 4 lemons, and 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of salt or to taste. Add the garlic and oil mixture to the pot. Add the lemon salt water mix to the cooking pot. The sauce should cover the rolls, and if not, add water until it does. Place a heavy plate or smaller pot lid inside the pot on top of the rolls. We've put another lid over that to hold everything down. Cover the pot and turn on the stove onto high heat for about 5 to 10 minutes until they boil. Then turn the heat to very low and let them simmer slowly for 1 to 1.5 hours until the cabbage is fully cooked and is no longer crunchy. Your time may vary, but you should be left with a bit of sauce on the bottom, so don't let it dry up. Carefully uncover the rolls and remove the plate or lid. Remove the baba ganoush from the fridge. Serve the baba ganoush family style with the warm pita bread. Plate the cabbage rolls with some sauce. Optionally, you can dress with chopped parsley and or yogurt.
How How did that turn out, you may ask? Well, first off, it was a metric ton of work. I tell you, I was working for 6 hours solid from the time I started the prep work to the time I actually had dinner, and boy am I tired. But it was really worth it because everything was delicious. Starting with the baba ganoush. The baba ganoush was creamy, delightful, so good that I thought I'd have a lot of leftovers, and I think we almost ate the whole thing. So I'm going to give the baba ganoush 5 out of 5 globes. Really delicious. Looking forward to doing that one for company sometime. As for the pita bread, that one came out really well. Not quite as good as it did when I did it off camera a few weeks ago because I didn't have a camera and people watching then. But still, it was really great. I'm going to give the pita bread 4 out of 5 globes. It would be a 5 if I had actually mastered it just perfectly. That'll happen someday. And the cabbage roll. If you're looking at this and you know how to make cabbage rolls, well, you're probably thinking I did that all wrong because I've only done that a couple times. Still, it came out really delicious. The cabbage was nice and sweet. It had the really great flavor of the lamb and the rice in there. The garlic and lemon was just out of this world. And to go with the Lebanese 7-spice mixture, that took it totally over the top. So good. I'm going to give the cabbage rolls 5 out of 5 globes. Really delicious, even despite my rolling technique. And the Lebanese 7-spice mixture you can use for other stuff too. Really, really good. So, that does it for Lebanon. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time when we start a string of 3 African nations in a row after a long time away with the food of Lesotho. See you then. And remember, if you'd like to see our streams live when they happen every Tuesday night, be sure to follow us on Periscope or Facebook Live. Like and subscribe to be advised when these videos are posted. Remember, links to the original recipes can always be found in the About section. And if you have any thoughtful feelings or helpful suggestions about the food that we're cooking, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and happy eating!